Okay, in this last lesson, we're going to have a situation where we're going to know all of the sides in the triangle, and we'll have to use cosine law to figure out what an angle is. So in the lesson from yesterday, we looked at the cosine law, where we have a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine A. The placement of these letters are very important because the side that you're looking for matches with the angle that you know, or vice versa. Okay, so the formula is going to change if we are solving for an angle. So we will get there in a few minutes, but let's start here. So find the measure of angle C. So again, I know that this is going to be cosine law, because I have side, side, side. I definitely can't use sine law because I don't have any of the angles, so it won't work. So if I'm looking for side C, angle C, I'm going to start off with side C. So a squared plus b squared minus 2ab cosine of C. Now, I could do the formula like this. However, I'm going to rearrange it before I actually solve. So I want to get cosine C by itself. So I'm going to start. So I'm going to have C squared minus A squared minus B squared. So I just move the A and the B over. Then I have minus 2AB cosine of C. And then I want to get cosine by itself. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 2AB. So I have cosine of C is going to be C squared minus A squared minus B squared all over minus 2AB. Okay, I'm just trying to move this out of the way. There we go. So now I'm actually going to put in my numbers. So I know C is going to be 750 squared minus A, which is 650. Again, I'm just matching. So this is little a, little c, little b, minus b squared, which is 500 squared, all over negative 2 times a, which was 650, times b, which is 500, equals the cosine of C. So very much you need to be comfortable using your calculator. So when you figure out this whole thing on your calculator, you should get 0.1692. And again, we want 4 decimal places. So I have cosine of C. So the last step is C will stay where it is, and I have to do the inverse on the other side. So when I do that, I'm going to get 80 degrees. Now, there are some different ways that you can do this problem. You can sub in the numbers right from the beginning and expand them out, but it's very easy to make order of operations errors here. So just be very, very careful. Knowing how to use your calculator is super important for these particular questions and all the questions that we have in the course. So we're going to kind of summarize this a little bit. So on your sheet where it says method 2, make a new formula, I'm going to give you 3 versions of this formula. Okay, so the 3 formulas that we have, we're going to have the cosine of C. That's going to be A squared plus B squared minus C squared all over 2AB. If I want cosine of A, it's going to be B squared plus C squared minus A squared all over 2BC. And then the third one would be cosine of B, and that's going to be the other 2 sides, so A squared plus C squared minus B squared all over 2AC. So this formula is already rearranged for you if you're looking for the angle. Okay, so depending on what you're looking for, you'll have a different angle that you're going to be solving for. And it's very much labeling things properly and then plugging into your calculator and evaluating properly. So I'll leave that there for a second. And again, you could always pause. So make sure you're adding that under the section on your sheet where it says method 2, make a new formula. All right, so the last example that we're going to do in this particular cycle. So it says in triangle X, Y, and Z. So already it's a little bit different. X is 15 feet, Y is 22 feet, and Z is 12 feet. So we want to find the missing angles. So it's up to us which angle we want to find right now. So I'm going to figure out what X is. So it's not A, B, and C like I had before. So I'm going to rewrite the formula using the letters that I have. So cosine of X is going to equal Y squared plus Z squared minus X squared. Okay, so it's the other two sides. So it's side Y and side Z that I know minus the X all over 2YZ. So the cosine of X is going to equal 22 squared plus 12 squared minus 15 squared all over 2 times 22 times 12. So the cosine of X is going to equal, when I do all that on my calculator, I'm going to get 0.7633. And again, make sure you're doing this on your calculator to ensure you're getting the right answer. But then I'm not done because I haven't actually got the angle yet. So I need to do the inverse. So X equals cos negative 1 of 0.7633. So X equals 40 degrees. Now, the question is asking us to find all the missing angles. So I just found that this X right here is 40 degrees. I could do the cosine law again for one of the other angles. However, now that I know what X is, I can actually use sine law. So now use sine law. You only ever have to use the cosine law once. You can use it for all the other angles if you want, but I personally think the sine law is a little bit easier. So let's find sine of Z now. So I'm going to have sine of Z over 12, and that's going to equal the sine of 40, which I just found, over 15. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 12. So I get the sine of Z equals 12 times the sine of 40 over 15. Oops. So then sine Z is going to be 0.5142. Then I need to do the inverse. So Z is going to be 31 degrees. So now that I have X and I have Z, I can figure out that angle Y is going to be 180 minus 31 minus 40, which equals 109 degrees. So I know these questions, they have lots of steps in them and it takes a little while to write them out. However, once you do that and do a few of them, the process is the same over and over again.